This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Samsung Behold 2 for T-Mobile in the United States. This is an Android phone, but it's different from the Samsung Moment because it doesn't have a slide-out keyboard. As you can see, it's just a bar design. And it runs TouchWiz 2.0 on top of Android 1.5. Now, TouchWiz isn't as pervasive as it is in some feature phones, like the Eternity. You can see you still have your 3 screens, like you would on any Android phone. You can have a different desktop picture for each one with this. And TouchWiz adds a quick list down here, which is Samsung's shortcuts to a variety of applications. In fact, many applications they wrote themselves for Android. They've done their own contact skin, they have their own photo viewer, video player, and more that we're going to show you. And if you want to see the standard Android icons, there's the little drawer here. And here's all your normal Android applications and icons. So that's interesting that it kind of gets second place location here to Samsung's own list of applications. We've got shortcuts down here for the dialer, which they've also customized, contacts, the web browser, and the quick list that we just saw, which is the Samsung applications. Let's take a quick look at the dialer. As you can see, they've customized the dialer here. They have big square numbers as opposed to little round numbers. That's default for Android. This is the MyTouch 3G, also on T-Mobile. That runs just vanilla Android. Up here we have the call log, contacts, and favorites. Here we have pretty much the same thing. We've got call log, a shortcut to voicemail, speed dial, which is the same as favorites, and contacts. If you go to contacts here, you see pretty much the standard Android style listing for contacts. But from the home screen, if you hit contacts, you have shortcuts to making a call and sending a message to your contacts. It's interesting that there's 2 different interfaces there. I'm not sure that that's a good thing. The Behold 2 features an Amoled display, which is incredibly vibrant and colorful. You've seen that on the Samsung Impression and some other recent Samsung phones. And it's 480 by 320 pixel resolution, has an accelerometer. It supports automatic rotation. And we'll take a look at Google Maps. This is a full Google phone, so you've got all the Google applications here. This is downloading map data over T-Mobile's 3G network. So you can see it's pretty fast. Supports rotation. There is no pinch and zoom here. Samsung created their own document viewer for Office documents, and there is pinch and zoom, which is interesting. You can see the refresh speed is pretty good. This also has telenav for spoken turn-by-turn directions. It's a $10 a month service. And we'll take a look at telenav next. The phone has 3G HSDPA on T-Mobile's US bands, and it's quad-band GSM, which means it works on GSM and Edge anywhere in the world. So here we are in telenav. Quick map of where we are. And that's quick enough. Also supports the accelerometer. And it has spoken turn-by-turn directions, as telenav usually does. And you can see there's a speaker here. It's not as impressive as some of other Samsung's high-end speakers, but it's pretty good. It's better than the MyTouch 3Gs, certainly. While we're taking a look at the back, you can see there's a stylized map of the world on the back. And the camera lens and the LED flash is quite bright. It's a 5-megapixel autofocus camera that takes good pictures, certainly on par with the original Behold, and better than most camera phones. One of the interesting things Samsung put on here, it's fun, we're not sure how useful it is, but it is fun, and we saw it first on the Samsung Jet, is the cube. Now there's a dedicated button for the cube over here, and there's also an on-screen shortcut that's there by default. Since this is Android, by the way, you can add icons or you can remove them as you see fit. So this is the cube, so you can launch the YouTube player here. It's the music player. And if you click on the music player, you see all of your tunes with album art if you have album art, which obviously we don't for these songs. It's pretty fast, and it's a nice little cover flow interface. And once you start playing it, I'll just pick a tune. If you go to the home screen, there's a player control widget right here on the home screen. And you can see there's the Amazon MP3 service here. There's a photo viewer. It scrolls through all the pictures you've taken and anything you have stored. It's reasonably quick. These are pictures taken with the camera. And we've got a shortcut to the video player. This is a very good video player. Samsung likes to enhance the phones and add support for more codecs and file formats and accelerate video playback. So we'll just take a look at a video right now. It's an MPEG-4 format video. That's a fairly high quality video that's doing a very good job of playing back. Again, speeding the MyTouch 3G here on video playback. And we're doing this over T-Mobile's 3G network. What's interesting is it isn't just your usual, here's a listing of a couple of YouTube popular videos. You can actually scroll through these. Cover art fashion. I'll just pick one and play it. The phone uses the YouTube player to play a flash video that's embedded in a browser. For example, our video reviews that you'll see on our own website.
The most exciting thing about this year's edition for me has to be our new...
So that's standard quality.
Here, the London Bridge, an iconic place in London to be a new world icon.
Switch to high quality. You get the best playback, generally speaking, on Android phones if you're going to use Wi-Fi with high quality. That looks quite good on this. Does a better job than the Moto Droid on Verizon via the cellular connection. And you've got the web browser here on the cube. Of course, there's a shortcut on the home screen as well to get to the web browser, but it's just another way of doing it. So here's the Android web browser, looking at our discussion forum right now. It's the usual excellent WebKit-based browser, same engine that Safari uses on the iPhone. There is no multi-touch pinch and zoom here, so you have to use the double tap on screen to zoom in and zoom out. But it does a very good job of rendering desktop HTML sites. Has inertia scrolling. It is quite quick. Let's compare this to the MyTouch 3G a bit more. This physical design style is quite similar. It's a bar phone, kind of curvy looking. This guy is slightly bigger, a little bit heavier. It has a more vibrant screen, obviously, because it's that AMOLED screen. I'll take a look at the back. I happen to have a custom back on mine. And from the side, also quite similar. So in terms of form factor, there's not a whole lot of difference. Obviously the buttons are different over here. These are bigger buttons for call, send, and in, which I like. It's a lot easier when you're on the go to make a phone call. And one thing I do miss is HTC's great trackball that we have here on the MyTouch 3G. And here we have kind of traditional circular D-pad, which works fine, but it's just not quite as expedient as is the trackball. Let's compare it to the Moto Droid, which is kind of the king of Android phones right now. It's obviously going to be bigger. This is a much higher resolution display, but it's not as bright and vibrant, even though it is sharp and clear. They're both quite thin. Obviously the Droid has a slide-down keyboard. They both have 5-megapixel cameras, but hands down the Behold 2 takes much better pictures. It's quite good. In fact, let's take a look at the camera interface. There's a dedicated camera button here. You can use it to launch the camera application and to take pictures. As you can see, usually Android camera applications are pretty darn boring, but here we've got shortcuts to switch to video mode, picture taking mode, single continuous shot, that kind of thing, your timer, further settings, flash, brightness, and a shortcut to your photo viewer. If you hit setup, you can see you can choose the resolution of the picture, the white balance, picture effects, ISO, anti-shake, all sorts of things. So it's certainly a camera buff's dream compared to the Android or any other camera phone currently running Android. Before we sign off, I just want to underscore some more of the enhancements that TouchWiz offers. Here you've got a little bar-style indicator that tells you which of the 3 home screens you're on. And there are a couple of special Samsung widgets that one of them I really like is the calendar. Right here you've got the calendar, and you can see any day that has an appointment has a little divot on the corner. Here you can see Samsung's customized version. You tap on a day, tap twice, you get your listing of events for the day, and if you tap on anything you'll see further details. So that's pretty nice that you've got the calendar at a glance and you can see what days you're busy. There aren't a whole lot of extra Samsung widgets beyond those compared to TouchWiz phones, which have a lot, but that's because Android itself supports so many different widgets. We've got the Google search widget here, complete with voice search. This time is courtesy of Samsung. That is their own widget. And the music player is theirs. And then this is a weather bug widget right here. There are plenty of weather widgets, sports widgets, and news widgets for Android that are available. The phone also comes with Samsung's own document viewer for Office docs. It does an okay job. I prefer Documents to Go. It's more readable, but it works in a pinch. The phone runs on a 528 MHz Qualcomm CPU, pretty much like almost every other Android phone on the market, except for the Moto Droid, which runs on an ARM Cortex-A8 that's much faster. It has a micro SD card slot. A 2 gig card is included, and the card lives under the back. Take a look at that. You do not need to remove the battery to access the card. This is a pop-up mount right here. It has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a GPS, and it will be available on T-Mobile the 18th of November. So that's the Samsung Behold 2. Visit Mobile Tech Review to read our full review.